I hope this podcast can inspire you to always dream big and make it your reality. I am your host, Jess Williamson, a serial entrepreneur and business coach. And today I'm going to be sharing with you why you need to stop overcomplicating things and stick to simple strategies in order to get real results in your business. But before we get started, I have a huge favor to ask. If you could please leave a review on Apple Podcasts, give us a star rating, and also write some comments on what you're loving about this podcast. It's really going to help me with feedback and also help others find this podcast as well. So if you've ever found any little nugget of information from this podcast helpful or inspiring or motivational, then please do leave a review. So it would really mean the world. Also, if you have been enjoying this podcast, please screenshot and share it to your Instagram or Instagram stories and make sure you tag me at jess.williamson8 so that we can spread the word. Because the more people that we can reach, the more impact that we can have in changing the world. Now, let's get started. Have you ever felt like you're trying everything yourself and getting nowhere? Do you feel like you're stuck in the wheel of trial and error? Or there's something holding you back every time you try something new, but you're just not sure what? Maybe you're overwhelmed by how much there is to do. In business, there are so many different things that we need to be doing and so little time. But here's the thing. You need to stop doing all of the things. It may sound counterintuitive, but stay with me because this is really going to change the way that you run your business. Reaching your goals and building your dream life is absolutely possible, but what I want you to know is that it does not need to be hard and complicated. So why do we keep overcomplicating things and making them harder than they need to be? We want to work smarter, not harder. So having simple strategies for growth is really, really key. I want to know, are you overwhelmed by all the tasks that you have to get done in the day? All the social media platforms that all the experts say you need to be on, or all the latest hacks, in inverted commas, from all the experts out there. You've probably tried a bunch of different things, or at least a fair few, but you feel like you're not really getting any closer to your goals. Maybe they provide some quick wins, but are they taking you in the right direction? Or are they distracting you off route? Something I actually see too often is shiny object syndrome, and this is basically where you think you should be doing something because everyone else seems to be doing it, or it's the latest thing to be doing, right? So you might try something once, maybe twice, and then you decide it's not working, and then you look for another option. Does this sound familiar? I'm sure some of you must be saying yes right now because a lot of my clients come to me with this. They're like, Jess, I've tried it once, I've tried it twice, no one wants my stuff, or no one likes me, or, no one's interested. And then they just want the next option. Like, what else can I try? What's next? What else? The thing is, it's not about what else, because if you keep jumping ship and keep changing the direction, then this is actually coming at the expense of what you've already planned or what you've already put into action. So here's how shiny object syndrome, or I like to call it shiny strategy syndrome, looking for the latest new strategy and to keep trying something different, is showing up in your business. So maybe your attention and focus is split among too many different projects at the same time. Maybe you're taking every marketing class that you can find all at the exact same time, trying to find the secret. P.S. There is no secret. Maybe you never have enough time for all the strategies you're currently working on. So you're trying to do Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, SEO, website, Facebook ads, like all of the things, but you don't have enough time to do all of them well because you're rushing through them. Maybe you're not even completing the tasks to your best of your ability before you move on to something else. So these are just a few ways that shiny object syndrome might be showing up in your business. But what it really is doing is leading to a lack of productivity and a lack of strategy. You're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. This is not a business strategy. Yes, you might be trying a lot of different strategies, but this is not a business strategy at the end of the day. You do not need more strategies. You need more focus on less strategies because it does not have to be complicated. So why do we keep overcomplicating things? That is why I really wanted to do this podcast episode today, because I'm seeing this way too often. And this is only going to get worse because the amount of information that is out there on Google, on Instagram, on social media, the amount of information that's being thrown at you every single day saying you must be doing this. Every expert is going to say that their way is the best way or their way is the only way. And so you're getting confused. We need to keep it simple. So being an entrepreneur and having your own business is not for the faint-hearted, but what we want to do is focus your energy into the things that will really actually help you get to your goals sooner, not someone else's goals. So it's really important to deeply understand your goals first. Once you're super clear on them, then you can identify if a new opportunity is the right fit for you and if it's something that you can actually commit to for a significant period of time. So let's keep it simple and stop overcomplicating things. This is actually something that I do with my clients. I help them to work out their goal without limits, and then we can actually build the most direct path to get them to that goal. And that means not worrying about all the things that they think they need to do and only focusing on the things that they actually need to do that are really going to have the most impact on getting them to their goals. There really is no point hustling so hard when you might be going in the wrong direction, or you keep going around in circles and you're not seeing the results because you keep changing direction before you even get close. So it's kind of like driving a car in a new city and not really knowing where you're going. You're going to burn a whole ton load of fuel. You're going to spend a bunch of time, spend a bunch of money and resources trying to get to your end goal. So my strategies are kind of like a GPS. We want to create the most simple, direct route to get you there. There's no point driving in one direction, doing a U-turn, driving the other direction, do another U-turn, drive a different direction. Like, you're no further away from your starting point than you were 5 strategies ago, right? So this is the same in business. Having the most simple and direct route to get you there is really the best way to create results in your business. So my main aim when I work with my clients is how can we spend less money, reduce the risk, and get there sooner by using simple strategies. So this is really the number one thing that you need to get clear on before you do anything in your business, because it does not have to be complicated or costly to have a massive impact. And when I say let's spend less money, it doesn't mean don't invest in yourself, but invest in the areas that really matter. Because if you spend $100 here, $100 there, $100 there, $1,000 here, it adds up. And again, you've not really gotten any further away from your starting point. But if you just invest $1,000 in the right area, which sometimes is hard to figure out, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But if you just spend your resources in one area and stick at it, that will have a much larger impact and get you so much closer to your destination than you would if you keep chopping and changing strategies. So what I do is I often tell my clients to focus on the path of least resistance. Spending less and, taking less risk does not mean having less impact at the end. We can get creative. We can come up with strategies that are simple, that don't have to cost a bunch, but they give you the same impact or outcome, possibly even more of an impact and outcome without having to waste a bunch of money, right? So what we want to look for is the path of least resistance with the least amount of stress, risk, costs, and have that similar outcome. So in order to do that, we need to actually ask ourselves 3 questions. I like to ask these questions when working on strategies for my clients' business and within my businesses. So the questions are, what is one thing that you can do today to move the needle forward? to take one step closer to your goals. One. Notice I said one, not what are the 10 things you need to do today. What is the one thing that I can do today to move that needle forward? Because when you ask yourself that, you can then focus your energy, your time, your resources on that one thing. And now instead of just saying, what are all the things I need to do in my business today, you're now focusing your energy on the one thing that is actually going to move you closer to your end goal. And if we can do that every single day, we will get there in no time. The second question is there a more efficient way to do this? Can we have the same output with less time and energy input? Because you might think, well, the one thing that will move my business forward is like this super overcomplicated, crazy strategy. Ask yourself, is there maybe a more efficient way to do this to have the same outcome? And even just asking yourself that question will start to give you some insight and ideas in order to move forward. The third question I like to ask is there a way we could do this for cheaper or even free? Now, like I said, I'm not about spending money unnecessarily. So there are a lot of free and simple strategies out there that can have a huge impact. But for some reason, we decide that we need to spend a ton of money or a ton of time or resources in order to have a massive output. Not always the case. I started my business with basically zero money and it was self-funded the whole way through. I got creative. So ask yourself these questions. How can you do it cheaper or possibly even free? Is there a way? Because sometimes there is, but we never actually ask ourselves that question, so we don't even see that there is. I don't recommend most people jump into paid ads before they've really created their business foundations and tried some free strategies to test and learn first. If you jump straight into ads, it's a band-aid. It may get you more sales, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's profitable. So you need to work on some foundations and things first before you jump into that. But like I said, you do need to be ready to invest in yourself and your business sometimes. By no means am I saying scrimp or do everything yourself, but there are sometimes some creative ways that you can do it to have the same output. Just to give you one quick example, one of my clients began working with me last year, and literally in the first session, we mapped out some key strategies for her to begin working on. And guess what? These strategies were all absolutely free and super simple. She didn't need a damn degree or, years or doing a course to figure it out. I went through these strategies with her in our very first session, all free, and in just 2 weeks of her implementing these strategies, she gained an increase in her website traffic by 60%. She doubled her online sales. She grew her Instagram following by 4 times in 2 weeks. And she also sold 1/5 of her new stock before she even launched. That is just a few of the things. And that was in only 2 weeks with free strategies and simple strategies. And if you're sitting there thinking, oh, Jess, those strategies sound great. Can you tell me what they are? Then you probably have shiny strategy syndrome, right? Because these strategies were formulated or specifically told to her for her goals, the goals that she had in her business, the type of business that she had. And so that is why if you listen to other people's stories and they're like, oh, I just did this, this, and that, and I grew this, and you try it and you don't get the same results, it's probably because you're just trying everyone else's strategies instead of actually looking at your goals and your business and formulating the simple strategies that will actually help you get to your goals. That is why I'm not going to tell you the strategies that I gave to her, because they will not help you, and that is only going to feed your shiny strategy syndrome. And now it's not actually a syndrome, that's just the name given to it. Obviously, it's not a medically diagnosed situation, but that is just the word that they've come up with. But I hope that makes sense. And that is something that I really wanted to talk about because I just see this too damn often. And honestly, this is why I love one-on-one coaching, because it is not a one-size-fits-all approach. That is just one example of where I've helped lots of my clients simplify their business to see real results. And by doing that, it means they get back more time to either enjoy life, because isn't that the number one reason why we started our businesses? Or they get more time and energy to put into those strategies that do work and that are simple for them. And then they get more results, right? So this is something that I really wanted to chat about, because the answer is not more strategies. The answer is not more energy, output, money. You can reach your goals with simple strategies, but sometimes it takes persisting on those simple strategies. And if you haven't listened to it yet, go back, scroll back down to the beginning, and one of my earliest episodes is all about persistence. Because quite often, and it just literally happened this week, so one of my clients, I gave her a simple task, and people usually don't believe it because they think it's too simple, it can't possibly work, right? I gave her a simple task, and so she did it for a week. She did it for a while. She, emailed 50 people, and she came back to me after emailing those 50 and she said, Jess, no one's interested. Why would anyone want to work with me? I'm just starting out. My business is small. No one's replied. No one's interested. And the answer that she was probably looking for is, oh, no worries, that didn't work. Let's try something else. No, I said, keep going, because you are one step closer now to getting a yes, right? Guess what? She persevered for another 1 week and she emailed 50 more people and she secured 11 yeses. I really wanted to give that example because so often you're like, oh, this is too simple. It can't possibly work. Or limiting beliefs pop in, like, why would they want to work with me? And my answer was not, no worries, you want a different strategy, here's a different strategy. No, because I know that this simple, very simple strategy and free strategy works. She just had to keep at it. And guess what? Now she's had a massive realization and lesson that she's learned, in that she can now take that lesson throughout the whole rest of her business, right? And that is my job as a coach, is not to say, no worries, here's another strategy. It's to push you past where you think is possible. It's to show you that it does not have to be complicated. And so now she has that knowledge and that belief that someone will say yes if you believe in what you're doing, right? If you want more from your life and more from your business, now is the time to make it happen, but you need to stop overcomplicating things and you need to make it simple. Do not jump on all the latest trends and hacks. I actually told one of my clients, don't worry about Reels this week. Don't even worry about it. Yes, Instagram Reels can be beneficial, but when it meant that she was sacrificing not taking action on the things that I know will have more impact on her business, I said, please stop doing Reels this week. Don't overwhelm yourself with all the things that you need to do, because what she was doing was spending all of her time on Reels and no time on the areas that I knew will actually get her to her goal sooner. Yes, Reels might gain her some followers. Yes, she might get a few sales from that. But her main goal right now is to secure sales and dollars so that she can fund some other things in her business. And so I said, focus all of your time and energy into this other strategy that I gave her. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that really has changed your perspective on some things as well, because it does not have to be hard, and you do not have to jump on the latest trends and hacks just because every expert online says you need to, right? Sometimes that might be the right option for your business, but sometimes it's not. So now is the time to go after your goals, but it doesn't have to be hard. So I hope that's really helped you and possibly inspired you, changed a bit of your perspective. If it has, please send me a DM. If you were like, holy shit, Jess, I have been sitting in this shiny strategy syndrome for too long, and this podcast has just changed my perspective on things. Please send me a DM. Like, I absolutely love hearing from you. Please share this to your Instagram and your social media and send me that DM. Let me know what some of your key takeaways are. Let me know what you think about this. If you have gained something from this episode or any other episode that I've ever done, then please make sure you share it. Tell a friend, share it to your social media, because if you've gained something from this, please help me on my mission to inspire more female entrepreneurs to live their dream life and enjoy the journey along the way. Thank you so much for being part of this, and thank you for listening. It really does mean a lot, and I hope that this has really inspired you to take some action or take less action in a way in your own business. I hope you have the most amazing day, and I will speak to you next week.